The Illini put up a fight, but ultimately fall a little short against number one Tennessee. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to another episode, post-game edition of Locked On Illini. My name is Sunny Verma. You can find me at IlliniCast. You can find me at the Sunny V or all your favorite social medias. Make sure to just do a quick search for Locked On Illini. Say hello, send me a message, be nice, be mean, just say something. And say something's what I have to do about this game. I'm of very few words today. There's been heartbreaking losses, and I feel like this is right up there. But we'll get to that in a second. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Now, the chat is popping right now, and I completely understand why. There's a lot of frustrations being shown, whether it's in the chat here, in a couple of my group chats, in the Discord. We've been talking about this. Let's just talk about the game first. First half was just not fun to watch. It's usually very exciting when you have the number one team in the country come visit. And there's 45 free throw shot in the first half, which I saw a graphic set the record for the highest amount for a Power 4 conference game or Power 4 game this year. It's just not fun. Everybody seemed like it had two fouls. Everyone was playing careful. It seems like you try to breathe on a guy, you got a foul called. And so just the brand of basketball just wasn't very enjoyable to watch. All that changed in the second half. The second half, you kind of got to see both teams get in the flow, start to feel it. You still had a couple guys, in particular on the Tennessee side. Chaz Lanier ultimately fouled out, and Ziegler, I believe, also fouled out, but that was only with like 5 seconds left. He had 4 fouls early in the second half, and it was looking like maybe Illinois would be able to take advantage. I think they went on a 10-0 run as soon as they had taken Ziegler out in that second half. But again, ultimately 66-64, another loss. I know people are upset, and I'm upset that we lost, but I don't know if I'm going to be upset tomorrow. Let's do a little exercise here. All right. Well, let's say the number one team in the country is coming to town, and I tell you that you have 0 players that had a good basketball game, that your team shot 15 for 51 from the field, 4 for 23 from three-point land. You're out rebounded 39-32. Now, keep in mind, Illinois prides itself on its rebounding. That's one of their game plans. Like, they know they're big, and so they try to out-rebound you. So you get out-rebounded. You have almost double the amount of turnovers as the opposition. And, as I mentioned, that's the box score of the number one team in the country coming to your house to play a basketball game. What I read off to you, you would think it was a blowout loss. And the way, the chat in this morning, before I logged on, or actually before I came on, a lot of you are very upset. And, ultimately I get it. But this is the type of lost, and maybe some of you guys are tired of me saying this. And if you are, let me know in the chat, yell at me. That's fine. Nobody had a good game today. Kasparis, he had some moments, but in my opinion, he's at as much fault for that loss as some of the other guys that you're mentioning in the chat. Losing focus with just a minute left with that lackadaisical inbounds pass, and then just not stopping the guy with the ball with 5.7 seconds left, just letting him run across the court and get a layup. That's unacceptable. It's a learning experience. I'm not angry. This is kind of why I'm saying what I'm saying. He's not going to make the same mistake late January, in February. He's prone to turnovers right now. And maybe that just comes with the magic that Kasparas brings. And so you just kind of deal with it. But you can't deal with it in those circumstances. That can't happen. But I said we would lose all 4 of our premier out-of-conference games this year because I thought the team was young and the team would need some gelling time. And especially a team like Tennessee, you're talking about a team that's both talented and full of veterans. I didn't think this game would be this close. I think I predicted a 9 or 11-point loss, something along those lines. And it's frustrating because, again, we were leading late in the game, and this has happened a couple times now. But it's getting closer. And I'm telling you, my feeling from this when I wake up tomorrow morning is going to be way more optimistic than I was 24 hours before. We put a team and we took them to their limit without anybody having a good game. You look at the other guys in double figures. Will Riley, 10 points, congrats. 1 for 9 from the field. All his points came from free throws. And that was one of my keys to the game, right? Let's have Will show up. Let's have another Will Riley game. And I think Brad Underwood agreed because Brad tried. He put in Will in the moments that we wanted Will in the game. But he just couldn't connect. The Illini, they, for the most part, shut down the Tennessee Stars. Chaz Lanier, welcome to Kylan Boswell Island. 5 for 17. Milicic, 2 for 13. Ziegler, 1 for 5. These are their leading scorers. The defense showed up today. I told you guys what the box score that the Illini had today against the number 1 team in the country. And they lost by 2 points on a play that quite honestly should not have happened with 5.7 seconds left. Not even that. Kasparas' play before that lackadaisical, that lazy inbounds pass. But that's a part of the maturation process. That's how these guys are going to grow. Brad Underwood's going to talk about this in the locker room right now. I promise you that. He's going to talk about this in the post-game press conference. That this, hopefully tonight, this feeling that everyone has, because again, we were so close, 5.7 seconds away. Just get it snatched out of your hands, just like that. But I want to hear you guys vent. I know that's the point of these post-game sessions. That's what I talk about. For 12 hours, everyone has the right to be angry, yell at Brad Underwood, yell at Ben Humrickhouse. Maybe you're also upset at Jockey Shonis. Will Riley. Visic had arguably his worst game as an Illini. Yell at me. Get it all out of your system. That's the point. The only thing I ask of you is hit that like button while you're here. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That's what continues to let this channel grow. That's what gives me the opportunity to come on here every single day talking about Illini. Right before this, I did announce, I don't know if you guys saw, Luke Altmaier is going to be returning. They announced that after the first turnover or first time out. But we're going to talk a little bit more about this game right after this. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com, Never waste a hunch and make every moment more. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And a special shout out to the Discord community that we've got growing here. The link should be in the description. We were going back and forth all game long, talking about, again, a loss to the number one Tennessee Volunteers. Guys, I'm looking at this box score, just looking for some sort of positive. And really, if I close my eyes and if you ask me who the best player on our team was this year, or this game, sorry, I mean, maybe it was Kylan just because of the way he shut down Chaz again. Kasparis 2 3-1s. I mean, the guy is just, I can't wait. I talked about this in the preview of today's matchup. And, you know, I've been wrong before, but I said that if I was Rick Barnes, I would want to focus on Kasparis and see if anybody else on this team could beat you. And right now, I still don't know who that second guy is. Usually it's Avicic, but Avicic is one of those guys, and I've talked about this before, and you guys have heard me say this before. He doesn't like being pushed around. He'll miss shots. When you got hands in his faces and you're shoving him and making him take difficult shots. Will Riley, when's the last time Will Riley has had a good game? It's been a few weeks now. We know Kasparis is him. And today, the world saw that Kasparis is him. 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Again, the shooting wasn't great, but the shooting was bad for everybody. 5 for 15 from field goal, 2 for 7 from three-point land, 10 for 14 from free throws. 1 steal, but 7 turnovers. I don't know if it's 7. It might even be 8. I don't think this refreshed. That's just unacceptable. It's just, I know he's got the ball a lot. He's a high usage guy, but you can deal with 4 turnovers. Maybe you will deal with 5, but when you're talking about 7 and that last turnover coming when it really mattered the most, that just hurts. That's, again, he's the only guy who showed up today, but I don't think he had a good game. Trey White, 11 points. I guess he was promising. Trey White, at least, you saw the activity that we want from Trey. The joke was that he had been getting cardio over the last couple games, but he showed up big against Wisconsin. If he can be a guy who gives you 11 points, he gave a couple rebounds. He usually averages more rebounds than this, but 11 points a game and just hustle plays, playing defense, bothering other wing defenders. You'll take that all day long. I mean, let's be honest. Is there anyone out there who still wants to replace Will Riley in the starting lineup and put over Trey White at this point? You appreciate Trey's veteran leadership. Will Riley right now is just not ready. And that's okay on December 14th. But if this team is to win the Big Ten, and by the way, guys, this team can still win the Big Ten. I watched Purdue earlier today lose to, I think it was Texas A&M. Michigan lost a couple days ago in a game I watched with them because I'm really impressed with them all year long. There's no great team in the Big Ten Conference. I genuinely believe we are the best team in the conference. And today would have been nice because today would have guaranteed us being ranked on Monday. And let's be honest, I still think we should be ranked on Monday. We did beat down Wisconsin, and we went to the last literal second with the number 1 team in the country and lost by 2 points. Days like today, unfortunately, when you have a team as young as we do, is just going to happen. Ben Hummerkaus, let's talk about him. 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 for 5 from the field goals. I know a lot of you are upset with him. I don't think today was as bad as the last 2 games. And I'm not even talking about the 1 for 4 from three-point land. Obviously he's got to make more. But defensively, he's still a liability. But I think my issue with him is not as much defensive. I kind of see what Illinois does. He's 6'9" and he's tall and he's got a long wingspan. And if you watch him when he's a secondary defender, they have him clog up the lanes and gap so that the opposition is a little bit more hesitant to drive to the rim, and that's why Illinois' rim defense is as good as it is. Not because of Ben Hummerkaus, but it's because they prevent too many attempts to begin with. Avicic, of course, being 7'1", absolutely helps, but it's his just complete lack of rebounding. Ben had that amazing tip dunk after that free throw. Or no, it wasn't a free throw. Was it a free? No, it wasn't a free throw. It was a jump shot. And he comes right back. Everyone's hyped up, and Tennessee misses their shot, and Ben Hummerkaus just gives up an offensive rebound. We all saw it. Everyone, social media is lighting up. Again, the Discord, group chat, everything. I understand Brad's analytics tell us that he's been the best defender 6 out of the 7 games. Nobody believes it. I'll take your word for it, Brad. But there's no way you should condone this lack of rebounding, this lack of awareness. He's 6'9". It reminds me of the hilarious quote, I think in the early 2000s, may have been the late 90s, when Eddie Curry was drafted by the Chicago Bulls, and Eddie Curry, being like 6'11", 260 pounds, was only averaging like 4 rebounds a game. And a reporter asked Scott Skiles, what advice would you give to Eddie Curry to be a better rebounder? And Scott Skiles, if you remember him, just straight face steel, just said, jump, Ben Hummerkaus. Make more of an effort. You can't be this bad at rebounding when you're that tall. More balls should just jump to you, should just fall to you. Just grab it. Defense, game-wise, the defense was fine. And we played Tennessee, again, to their limits. But the offense is it's just not there right now. And I see so many comments. It's time for you guys to vent. We'll get to that right after this.
College basketball season is well underway, and let me tell you, there's no other experience like watching your favorite team at the home stadium. When you're looking for tickets, make sure you start off with the Gametime app. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite team play live even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. All-in pricing, toggling this feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Seat views get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime Picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime.
All right, let's get to it. Jason says, Ben and Jake are unplayable in this league. They're just overmatched, and that's poor recruiting. Jason, I completely agree on Jake. I just don't know what he provides at all. He doesn't even look like he's physically ready for the Big Ten yet, but Brad Underwood still continues to go to him. I almost think that he's kind of like a backup plan for Ben if Ben doesn't get his shooting. I'm still not off the Ben Hummerkaus bandwagon completely. I understand the mindset of why Illinois needs him, but I almost wonder if Brad thinks if Ben is not going to be the guy to space the floor, to hit that open three that a guy like Kasparis will basically provide for you all day long, that maybe he can slowly develop Jake into being that. Now, am I saying that's a good plan? No. I'm telling you, I actually thought Jake Davis might redshirt this year. I thought this team was so deep that it ran 9-10 guys that we wouldn't have an issue, and that we could, redshirt a guy like Davis and he could be a key player on next year's team. That's just not the case. Jason also says the team is soft. Brad's coaching is really starting to piss me off. I wasn't too upset with the toughness today, except for Ivisic, again, who I still think just needs to get meaner. Tennessee's a mean team. Tennessee is a physical team, and I think we kind of went toe-to-toe with them. I do agree with you here. I do agree with you here, Jason. 0 minutes for Morez in the second half. I want an explanation on that. I thought he had a really good game in that first half. Every time he's on the court, good things happen. Check it out. I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but if you are, I don't mind. Again, please be sarcastic. He says, fantastic game. Kellen says, we can't drop an inbound play to save our lives. Yeah, isn't this 2 games in a row? I did not feel confident any single time that Illinois was throwing the ball in this time. And I don't know if Tennessee was doing anything different in particular, but it just didn't work out for us at all. Brickhouse might be the worst rebounder in college basketball I have ever seen for his size. I agree. That's what I just talked about in the last segment. The defense bothers me, but at least rewatching the games and just kind of focusing on it today, I kind of see what they're trying to do with Ben. As long as he's not getting isolated, or the guy he's guarding has the ball, then we're in trouble. But if he's playing a secondary, third defender type of role, I can see what he's doing. He's basically clogging up the lanes so that the guy of the ball handler is hesitant to drive directly at the rim because he knows there's 2 guys, one for 6'9" and one 7'1" waiting there. Kellen also makes a point. I'm not sure I trust our end of the game coaching at all. Well, I mean, that's kind of been an issue with Brad for a while now, right? The good thing is, and let me know if you agree or don't agree, I do trust Kasparis still. I think we have one of the most clutch basketball players in the country. And sometimes, when it comes to end of game coaching, it can be as simple as just give it to KJ and get out of the way. And I think the way he's slowly developing every single game will be reaching that level, hopefully in about a month. And again, I know I can see it now. A lot of you guys do not like what I'm saying about almost and hopefully. Brandon says, here's what makes you feel bad. You were in total control of the game and lost it. I don't think anybody had control of the game. I think the refs had the control of the game in the first half. I do think once, what's his name? Ziegler got into foul trouble. We had a huge advantage, but then Gamey out of nowhere had the game of his life. He ended up with 23 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and that game-winning basket at the end, which again, to me was just indefensible. And now for sure, check it out, is being sarcastic. So I appreciate you commenting. Brandon says, Tennessee had 1 guy on the floor that could score, and you let him go coast to coast. I know. That's what I'm saying. There's 5.7 seconds left. Kasparis, just stop the ball. Force a pass. Force something. That's all you have to do. Czar says, almost. We're still at the point of claiming moral victories. I mean, you might not be, and I totally understand if you're not. But again, when I wake up to this tomorrow, the number 1 team in the country came to your house. You had 0 guys who played a good basketball game, and you took them to their wits' end, shooting 15 for 51. And some of the plays at the end of the game, that Kasparis, the blunders that he had, I don't think he makes a couple weeks from now. I'm still optimistic about this team. And again, me personally, I'm not asking you to be. Me personally, I'm as high on this team after watching this game as I have been all season long. And I'm one of the few people who have said that this team has as high of a ceiling as even the year before when we went to the Elite Eight. I just think last year's team was flawed in the sense that we didn't have a point guard, we didn't have a center. This year we have those. I just don't know right now who's our Domask. That's what we're waiting on. Fighting Illini 23 says, don't get an opportunity to play number 1 very often, and we blew it. Czar says, I was promised no more moral victories from Brad. You're not going to hear this from Brad. You're hearing it from me. I don't get paid nearly as Brad. So, he's not going to tell you that this loss was acceptable. Terry, this is kind of what I've been saying. I don't care what nobody says, bro. We can beat anybody in the country on a neutral floor. That's what I said early in the season. that when this team is on, there's no team in the country that I can't beat. And I actually used the words, the number one team in the country, Illinois can beat whoever that might be when Illinois is playing to their levels. Today, we literally almost had it happen. And we didn't come close to playing Illinois basketball. That's why I'm saying this ceiling on this team is there. March Madness, it's a one and done. You catch fire. Illinois hasn't caught fire in a while now. It's been 3-4 games. When the threes will start dropping, and I promise you guys, they will. This team's going to be a menace. Right now, we're just unfortunately in the growing process. And I called it in the preseason. I said, you guys are going to get mad at me because I'm going to, and maybe in my head, maybe you guys are going to call it coping. You guys think I'm coping. And if that's what you guys think, I completely understand. What I'm trying to do is at least give you an idea of why, the thought process that I have. And I know you don't agree, which is fine. A lot of you don't. So he says you were in the lead 99% of the game. Czar says maybe we should have been better at rebounding if we hadn't chased Hansberry off for Brickhouse. St. Thomas Rosary says, I blame Brad for the way he constructed the team. We need a couple of old veterans to the portal, or just could have given Coleman the big booth, big bath, big. I get what you're saying. Mystery White, Ben is worthless. Looks like we have a Tennessee fan coming in who seems to be a lot more complimentary than most of you guys. He says, you gave us a great game. Thanks for that. That last play, I blame more Big T not helping to block that shot. He should have been aware of that time instead of blocking his guy out. Jason, you might be right. Again, I go live immediately after every game, so I didn't get to see the replay or anything. You might be right. All I know is because Pierce was guarding him at one point, and whether it's at half court or at the free throw line, at that point, you have to just force the guy with the ball to make a decision. You can't just give him a path to the line. Either, hey, he's got to stop and shoot, or stop and give it to someone. And again, the pass takes time off the clock, and the guy he passes to, him setting up for a shot, takes time off the clock. What the worst case scenario is exactly what happened. Without KJ, Illinois doesn't make the NIT. I mean, you might be right. I don't think you're right, but you might be. We're honestly waiting for that second guy. Avicic is, I think, the perfect third guy. Double-double. Again, bad game today, 4 for 12, 1 for 5. But, you can count on him for a double-double every single game. But I don't know if he's got it in him to really be one of your main two guys. I'm still counting on Will Riley, and he's trying, which I appreciate, 1 for 9. I do think he might be in a mini slump right now, but all freshmen go through slumps. So hopefully that's all we're dealing with. Look, the Tennessee fans in here are giving the Illini a lot more credit than the Illini fans are. Tennessee is undefeated this year. They've played some good basketball teams, and they're coming in here. Chris says, as a Tennessee fan, I got to give your team credit. You gave us a lot of trouble on offense. The opponents can see it. We're just being a little emotional. And I'm not mad at you. That's fine. We're allowed to be emotional. 12 hours. Get it out of your system. Tyler says, the lousy passes we saw from Jackie showing us all games reminder that I shouldn't have too high expectations for someone that young. We still cannot close out games. Yeah, I like the ball when it's in his hands, but I'm not going to lie. My heart starts racing. I don't know. He's either going to make one of the most incredible plays I've ever seen, or he's going to make one of those just silliest plays where, he's still young. But I'll be honest, I'm just really, really glad he's on our side. Zach says a lot of our players were in foul trouble. Anthony says we are a bunch of excuse makers. No, Anthony, nobody in this chat is agreeing with me. So it's just me. Anthony, don't worry. I'm the only one here who feels the way I do. But again, I'm trying to justify and give you the thought process that I have and why I think I wish we had won today. Of course, I wish we had won today, but the number one team in the country lost by 2. Nobody had a good game. Brandon said Gainey at one point was the only guy who could score on the full. Why not sub in DGL and double him? Fox the River says, I thought it was going to be a blowout. Happy it wasn't. So frustrated that this game will just be seen as an L when it comes to 4 bracket seeding. Lee says, I'm just surprised how well we played with the subpar role players we have on this roster. Yeah, we're kind of at the point of the season where we're going to figure out if it's subpar role players or if it's just kind of a collective slump. The schedule's not going to get easier. Missouri, I'm no longer looking forward to that game. They just beat Kansas. And then the Big Ten season starts. Josh, let's not do that. Rush tried their hardest to give Illinois the game in the second half. That's like half our roster. Every single guy who played in that first half on Illinois had 2 fouls. Our best player fouled out with 10 players and 10 minutes. Yeah, because your best player, who is, I don't know who he's talking about. They're all right, Josh. That's why he was for SEC schools. All right, let's see. Josh, Illinois, a good team. No, I mean, let the Tennessee fans say what they want. It's not a big deal. I think we're going to have another chance at them in March. We very well could, and I'll be honest. I like my chances. It's not a big deal. Zach says Illinois is a good team, good fan base for the most part, but come on, Tennessee is number 1 for a reason. I don't know what that means. You won the game. You guys have seniors and juniors on your team, and we have a bunch of freshmen and new guys playing on the team together. All right. The chat's just having fun right now. I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Again, I released a Luke Altmaier coming back in 2025 video during the game. You can literally see me watching the game while I was doing it. Stay tuned to Locked On Illini. I'm going to have content for you every single day. Make sure you've hit that like button, subscribe button. Tennessee fans, while you're in here, at least do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's just say I'm hoping that when February comes around and I'm hoping that we've kind of flipped the switch and we're winning these close games like this, I'm going to be able to kind of reflect back on this sort of post game and, be like, see, I told you that this is all a process. Brad Underwood made a decision that he's going to have a roster of, we knew it was going to happen. Everyone last year pretty much ran out of eligibility. And we knew we were going to have a brand new team this year. And quite honestly, it could have been a lot worse. I still think Illinois is a top 20 team in the country. They've replaced 10 guys on this basketball team, and they're a top 20 team in the country. We're in good hands. I genuinely believe that. And I hope you guys believe it too. Either way, until next time, ILL. Love you guys.